What's up, family? It's your boy Benny Blanco, aka Mr. Shot of Cali. We're about to get into another shirt comparison video. This time it's Printful versus Printify. What's up, people? This is my last video that I did, which was what was it? $10 shirt club versus Printful. Some people have been hitting me up, asking me about Custom Cat and asking me about Printify. Custom Cat, I actually signed up and I was having some issues with them, so I canceled and stopped messing with them. I couldn't get the things to work with my Shopify store, so I can't speak on Custom Cat. Some people say they're good. I don't know. I couldn't get it to work and I just never went back. So I will talk about Printify and Printful because I actually use both. The reason I use both is simply there's a lot of pros and cons for both of them. Well, not a lot of pros and cons, but there's pros and cons for both of them. I'm sure you guys remember my shirts that I ordered off of Printful, and like I said, the colors are beautiful. They're almost exactly like what the actual picture is. So I have no complaints about the quality for Printful. And yes, I recommend, if you're gonna pick a shirt, I recommend spend a little bit extra and get the canvas, the Bella canvas shirts. They are much better than those Anvil and Hanes or whatever you can get from other stores. So I didn't leave Printful because of quality issues or service issues or anything like that. The service is great. They ship out fairly quick. Sometimes on the orders, the sample orders, sometimes those are a little bit slower than the regular orders, but you know, that's understandable because they're giving you a discount. So I haven't had any issues as far as shipping from Printful, but the price is just it's too high. There's really no room for markup for Printful. It's just unless you really get your name out and you can you're able to raise your price a little bit higher, then you can do that and make some money off of Printful. But if you're just starting out and you still have the low prices to try to get your business in there, try to get those customers, Printful might not work for you because you won't have a large enough profit margin. So I do still have some items on my store that are from Printful, and that's mainly because of the things that Printify is lacking. This is a Printify shirt. This is one of my Fuego shirts. It's not bad by any means. It's just it didn't look quite like this from the original picture design. The color is not as vibrant as it should be. I'll show you guys some more shirts. We'll get to that one last. I'll get to the worst ones last. Actually, this one. Alright, I'll get to some good ones. This one was a very simple shirt. They did this one real well, the Fuego shirt. It pretty much stayed close to the color. It wasn't a hard shirt. It was only one color, so they did that one okay. So this is another shirt that they did. Really good shirt. Two colors, kind of. So they did, the quality on here is really good. I was really surprised that they were able to get the details so well. This was one of my, I think I ordered this one and this one by themselves just to see how they work well with colors. Just another one of my Savage Life t-shirts with you know who on it. So they did really good job on these shirts, and I was like, oh man, I'm gonna switch from Printful to Printify. They were doing a real good job, and then I got this shirt. So I don't know how it looks on the camera. I don't know what you want to call it, turquoise or whatever color this is. It doesn't look like this in the picture. It's really different. This is supposed to match this, but it's kind of like a light blue. The Savage Life wording is not the right color. And the black looks really faded. I don't know if you guys can see that. The black looks real faded. So I wore this one like once. And I just didn't really like the color job they did on this one. This is Printify, and this was the most recent one of the most recent ones. So it was a red fuego sign was outlined in red. This, which looks like orange, was more like a bronze color. That doesn't look anything like the color it originally was. And the red is a little off too. I wasn't really too happy with the red color they did. So that being said, I did have to change the color scheme, and I'm actually going to reorder this one from Printify just to make sure they can do it right. If they fail on that one, I probably will be moving all my items back to Printful again, which will really suck. Just because sometimes it's just hit and miss with them. Sometimes they do a really good job or a passable job, and sometimes it's just the colors are off. Like this shirt, the color's off. It doesn't look as vibrant as it should. It doesn't. It's hard to explain without you being able to see. I don't know if you guys can see the detail, but I don't know. It's like faded almost, and it's I haven't even washed this shirt. This is a brand new shirt, so it almost looks a little bit faded already. And this is a brand new shirt. These shirts have been washed, and they still look great. Let's see. These two have been washed. They still look great, and these are from Printify as well. So it's very hit and miss sometimes with Printify, and that's not the only issue I have with Printify. The second issue is not so much. I wouldn't really put all the blame on Printify. I'll put some of the blame on the shipping methods that they use, DHL. I've had quite a few orders through them, and things have just went wrong. Slow to ship out, and when they do ship out, it seems like DHL just screws up all the time or something. I don't know. I don't know if it's the vendors that they use, because Printify uses other vendors to make the products, and then they ship it from wherever they're at. So I don't know if it's the other vendors, an issue with them, but I get a tracking number, and then sometimes the item will just sit somewhere. It'll say it's DHL dropped it off at the post office, and nobody knows where it's at, and it'll sit for like a week, and then my customers are complaining, and it's just crazy sometimes. And I haven't had that problem with Printful, and I've had lots of orders through Printful. So I've had 3 issues as far with shipping so far with Printify, and I don't know if that's Printify or if it's the vendors they use, the people that make the shirts. So you got to be wary of that. There was an issue directly related to, I guess it might be the vendors as well. I had an order come through for a shirt. It wasn't like a white or black shirt. It was like some blue or something like that. So the order sat in queue, waiting to be fulfilled for like a week a week longer than it usually takes. So I sent the email. I'm like, what's going on with this shirt? It's just been sitting in queue for a week. And they're like, well, a couple of days later, they replied, and they said that the shirt was out of stock, and they ordered some more, and they should be in a couple of days. So I'm all this time I could have canceled the order, went over to Printful and got the shirt I needed from my customer. My customer's sitting there waiting, and you got to be on top of Printify. It seems like I've had to call their customer service quite a few times. Well, not call, email their customer service quite a few times. So I guess you get what you pay for. Printify is a lot cheaper than Printful, and they have this discount seller rate that make it even more cheaper. But it's just the fact that sometimes they're just unreliable. It almost feels like I have to get samples of all the more detailed shirts that I have just to make sure they're able to do them correctly, and I don't think that should be necessary. So be wary of that if you're planning on using Printify. There's definitely some issues still there. A lot of people like what they get from Printify, and if you don't use highly detailed t-shirt designs, then you probably won't have any issues. You probably will be able to work it fine. You'll get that seller discount, and you'll make a lot of money because they're so cheap compared to Printful. So that's really all I got. Issues with them. When they do stuff right, they do it really well. They ship out. I've had an order ship out in a day sometimes, and they do it really well when they actually get on the ball. I don't know if it's because of certain vendors are better than other vendors, but sometimes they work well, and sometimes it's just okay product. And I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I don't know if I would even rock this orange and red, and this is kind of faded, but what can you do? You got to take the chances. So these shirts, if the next one comes back and it looks kind of faded like this one, I probably will be switching over to Printful. But I'll keep you guys updated if anything changes. But that's all I got for this one. Let me know if you guys got any more questions about Printify, any other issues I've had. That's really all that I could think of right now. I didn't really prep for the video. Printful, I honestly haven't had any issues with Printful. There may have been one time that it was, like I say, it was a little slower than it usually is, and that was one of my sample orders, so I didn't really care too much about it taking a little longer. But that's the only issue I've ever had with them. I think a few processing issues. The site itself was glitching. I couldn't get a payment to go through, but that's about it. I think they're a lot easier to work with especially if you want to sell stuff on eBay, Amazon, and all these other platforms. I think they're a lot easier, and in that manner, I don't think you could even do anything with Shopify Printify as far as any other websites selling on and things like that. So I think Printful is just a better one-stop shop, and also they have other things that Printify just doesn't have. Like the hats. I've got not this hat, but I gotten quite a few hats done there, leggings. I actually think Printify is better for hoodies. The hoodies are really nice. I forgot what they're called. I think they're college hoodies or something like that. They're really nice. They're a lot cheaper than anything Printful has, and they're really good quality. So I would definitely recommend, if you plan on doing t-shirts and hoodies, to go over to Printify. Everything else is kind of Printful if your concern is mostly the quality of the product. If that's your biggest concern, and it's not really just putting out a lot of volume and with simple designs, I would stay with Printful. Or you could do like me and just use both. I found that's worked best for me. When I find the shirt doesn't look as good as it should, I'll raise the price slightly and put it over on Printful, and that's worked for me so far. So hope that answers all of your questions. For all you trying to start t-shirt business out there, they're both good companies. I'm pretty sure they'll get better with time as far as Printify, but those are the issues I've had so far. A couple of quality concerns, but it definitely hasn't been enough to really push me away yet. I'm gonna wait for this next order to come in and see what it looks like, and then I'll make my decision on whether I plan on staying using them for any shirts at all, or if I just plan on moving everything back over to Printful. So that's all I got. It's your boy Benny Blanco. I'm out. Peace.